Okay, I am live. Live and alive. I'll take a look. That's why I said send over the list and we'll take a look and let you know. So that'll be what I do after we stream, after we squat. Thank you so much for that. I know I'm off camera. I did hear the notification. I'll be right back to celebrate with you. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Borgamax. You're the best. Subscribe for 3 months, currently on a 3-month streak. That's what we're talking about. We love to see it. You're the best. What's going on, Phoenix? Let's go. You weren't late this time. I know usually you come in a little bit late, but appreciate you being here on time this time. Thank you so much. The brand is always hungry personal training. One of my philosophies, first and foremost, is that in order to be your best, in order to reach your goals, you must always be hungry to keep climbing that mountain, always be hungry to get better, to strive for your best. On the flip side of that, I am always hungry. I do love donuts, pizza, ice cream, tacos, all the good foods, so we're always hungry. Thank you guys for swinging by this morning. Like the title says, we are doing some squats today to celebrate. My wife and I are buying a house. We put in an offer and it got accepted, so big, awesome things, but we still have our work to do today. Got to be excited, but we still got some stuff to do. Finishing up our warm-up, I got about 2 more rounds of my lat pull downs and face pulls to get our upper back and body ready to go, because as we squat, we'll be doing some heavy weight, so we want those muscles up top to be nice and strong and warmed up. So I'm going to disappear from the camera. I'll still be in view, but I won't be able to see you. But we 2 more rounds of these lat pulls, face pulls, and then we'll switch the camera around and get into some squats on our Wednesday morning. Thank you so much, Phoenix. It's very exciting. These 2 exercises, lat pull downs and face pulls, I pretty much do them every day, regardless of the workout. They are 2 of my favorites to throw in. They're just really good for your back health beyond just the strength aspect of things. But for all of our lifting, our bench press, our squats, our deadlifts, they all kind of go through that upper back complex. So they're really good to keep blood flowing in there, keep them loosened up, keep them strong, to support the weight that we move through our other movements. There's a circuit of about 4 or 5 exercises that I do literally every day because of that, to build up strength in my back, in my shoulders, in my hips, my core. I pretty much do some combination of lat pull downs, face pulls, cable rows, ab wheel rollouts, planks, maybe back extensions or hip thrusts. Some combination of 4 of those exercises pretty much every day. I kind of cycle them through, but 4 to 5 sets of 15 to 20 at kind of a moderate to light weight. It doesn't need to be anything too heavy, but my back has felt better than ever before. My hips feel better than ever before. My core feels strong. So if you're looking to kind of a great place to start, that's a really solid starting point. And like I said, I do those literally 5 days a week. Throw the phone on focus mode so we are not disturbed. Oh. 3 consecutive streams this month. Thank you so much, Phoenix. Phoenix, congratulations on the milestone achieved. Point, 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 point. Rockstar status there. All right. Buying a house is stressful. That is accurate. But it seems like the biggest stress is over. Now there could be a lot of things that could happen, but moving will be stressful. Moving's never fun, but it'll be exciting because we'll be moving into a home, not just another apartment. It will, in theory, be a final move for a long time. Because we're so good. You're welcome. Mrs. Always. Please, is Mrs. hungry? Call. Mrs. Always was my father? What? I know, and I liked it. Do you like that I set you up with your bar and your plates? You're welcome. No, it's fine. Your 10s were buried over there. Oh. This is gonna be fun. Mrs. Hungry and I are both squatting. So we got the rack set up for, I'll be in the middle, she'll be in the back. We're gonna have a good workout. We're gonna be continuing our trend of our 5x5s like we've been doing the last couple weeks. We're gonna start off with a couple warm-up sets building into what we're gonna do for our main workout. Our main workout today is 5 sets of 5 at 275 pounds. So we'll start off with a couple sets, 135, 225, getting the body used to having some weight. As you get stronger, that's something you want to do. It's never a bad thing to throw in a couple extra warm-up sets of your heavy exercises to make sure your body, joints, hips, muscles are ready for the weight. A little traveling here. How's that look? Oh, that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. We have a couple of busted lights in the ceiling right now, so trying to shift the camera to get the better lighting on the squats. I think that'll work just fine. You're in that same process, Phoenix. Got denied on the first one due to the time frame that we had, but hey, I'll take it as the house was not meant to be. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, one of the things our realtor said is the most important thing to think is, okay, next, on to the next one. And what was it she said? That nobody dies in real estate, you know, in theory. There could be freak accidents, but in theory, nobody's dying in real estate. There will always be another house. You'll find the right one. And what's nice is we're gonna be in a pretty good area. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and Intel is building a huge plant in the next couple of years, um, relatively close to where our area is going to be. So that whole area is just should be exploding in the next few years. So getting in now, I think, will be smart on the investment side of things. But when we walked in the house, one of the first things she said was, "This feels like the place we can be," and now we'll be. Nicely done. Nicely done. Like I said, we'll do one more warm-up set of our squats before we get into our 5x5. Ugh. Heavy weights are heavy sometimes. Yeah, this will be interesting. Legs are kind of tired today. We'll be fine. They're always tired. Always tired. Personally, my legs are sore. You know what? We're going to throw one of our wrist wraps, not a wrist strap, on for today. Last couple of weeks, my right wrist has been bothering me after heavy bench press, and just the way the bar sits into my hand. And I tripped and fell on Saturday during our run and braced with my right hand, so I wonder if that is playing into it as well. But we are just going to wear our wrist strap. No, wrist wrap. Dang it, it's the wrist wrap. For added support, just to keep things in line. It's not hurt or anything, it's just really sore, so when I get into that position holding onto the bar, it's not super comfortable. Hopefully this will give it a little bit more stability. Let's see how this goes. Oh yeah, that wrap feels much better. Hot dang. That is some weight. Oh. Good. Holy heck. We ran for almost an hour last night, and I don't think I was nearly out of breath during that run as I am after a set of squats, man. They just skyrocket that heart rate. That's good. It means we're alive. I would rather be out of breath and my heart pounding than dead. I can't believe today's already Wednesday. Shit. This week is coasting on by. Hey, Smiley. Excited. Yay! Ah. Okay. We did it once, we can do it twice. That's the theory, right? Oh, big stretch. And then pull ourselves into that bar. One more. We got this. Hell yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh. Nicely done. She's so strong. Bye. Oh. Let's get through inspection. Yeah. Yeah. I like that plan. Yeah, we're moving into a house, yeah. Yeah, we can even put in there. We can even ask, like, since we're moving into a house, not in another apartment. We can just tell them we'll be out by. Just a heads up, we'll be out of the property by June 30th or whatever. So it'll be empty. Would you be interested in just cutting ties or whatever? We'll word it better, but. And if they say that we would have to break the lease, we'll just say, okay, we'll just pay the last couple months. So we have to check up those prices. Yeah. Easily. They shouldn't, but they can. They shouldn't, again. They need to upgrade a few things, and then they can. Yeah. Yeah. Or a couple of roommates that like to go out and party and lose their keys and lock themselves out at 2:30 in the morning and wake up the neighbors. Not that that's ever happened. Spoiler, we are. It's okay, one of the neighbors apologized. Downside, it was the wrong neighbor. Sure, everybody has their stories of neighbor woes. whether renting or owning. Just because we own a house doesn't mean we won't still have shitty neighbors sometimes. But we just have a little bit more of a buffer between them. Dirty hippies. No. Yeah.
I always wonder what that means. Like,
Who's to say? I see somebody wrote something. I will be right there. We're going to do set number 3 on our squats. The screen's just a little bit far away from my old man eyes to read. Oh shit. Excuse my language. Your neighbor sucks. We keep on keeping on. Get glasses, nerd. I have glasses. I do wear glasses. I just don't wear them while I'm lifting because they slide off my face. Jerk. No, you're not a jerk. It's fine. And maybe someday, if we get enough subs to fundraise for a new screen, we'll put up a big old monitor so I can see chat. No, I mean like a big ass flat screen TV. No, I want them to pay for it. No, that's fine. I kind of like not being able to see it while I lift because then it doesn't distract me. I can see that somebody said something, but I can focus on my lift and then come back and hang out. What's that? Yeah, it's on that post. Mm-hmm. It's a thing. Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably kind of like how it is now, where they pull into the block or the street or whatever, go do it, walk back, move down. Yeah. Yep. Fun, quirky things that we're learning about our new house that we're going to move into. It's got a master bedroom that could be its own studio apartment. It's got all the concrete in the world. It's got a big ass basement we're going to turn into something awesome. To our roller disco / crypto mining. Facility is probably the word. Operation, that's a good another word that could be used if you wanted to, if it pleases. We're so good. We're pretty dang good. So are you guys. But we're better. Only right now. In the grand scheme of things, we're all awesome. That's nothing. Set number 4. We are cruising through these squats. Which is good because they're heavy and I don't want to do them anymore. All right. Set 4 of 5, 4 of 5, with 275. Let's make it happen, Captain. Oh, shit. Goodness. Oh. Thank you, Nippy. Goes one back in late December. Congratulations on your new house as well. It's been a crazy process. We got pretty lucky. Walked into it yesterday. Felt like home. Put in that offer and got that notice this morning, so we're moving on it. Obviously things could happen, but got to get the inspection. We're feeling really good about it. The hungry household. House of hunger. Hashtag hungry house. We'll put a big sign over the front door that says that. Although some people might get confused and think it's like a takeout. Sounds like the name of a great Chinese takeout restaurant, Hungry House. But maybe that's just because one of our favorite places is called Happy House. You'd go to that? Well, you're welcome over anytime. Can't guarantee that we'll have Chinese takeout, but you just let us know and we'll have something for you. Some of your wife's family lives in Ohio, so stop on by through Columbus. Set up a workout, we'll get some Chinese takeout, make a whole thing of it. I think for this last set, I'm going to break out the brand new lifting belt. Just got this guy on Monday. I've only used it once. We used it for deadlifts on Monday. I did not stream that. Busy day, and just wanted to get a tryout with it, and absolutely loved it. So we're going to try it here on our squats and see how it goes for our last set on these today. The back's been feeling really good on our squats, so that's why I haven't been using it. But I just want to get an idea for how it feels on squats. Lifting belts are not a necessary tool, not a necessary accessory, but I am at a point where I'm about to turn 35 next month. I want to keep my body healthy. I've kind of plateaued with my lifts, especially my deadlift, and I'm ready to hit that next level. So bringing in a little bit of help and support, literally and figuratively, with the belt is going to help take me to that next level. Lifting belts are great. They come in a variety of different types. But it is not built to support your lower back. Often, like you see, like delivery guys that wear the belts for lifting. This is more to just create a place for your core, your abs to press against, to brace against. It's not a support, but it's almost like a foundation. So it gives you a place to push your abs into to really steel that core for your lifts, for your deadlifts, or your squats. So we're gonna give it a shot today on our squats. How far away is Powell? Powell, Ohio? That's just on the... if it's the city of Powell, it's just on the north side of Columbus, so it'll probably be about 25 to 30 minutes away from us. But if Powell... There might be another Powell, so I don't... And thank you. It is Jim Reaper's brand. Just a classic powerlifting belt. I like the idea of the lever action rather than the classic prongs. And again, we used it on Monday for deadlifts, and it went swimmingly. If you caught it over on Twitter or on my Instagram stories, I haven't deadlifted over 400 pounds since last summer. The last two times I cycled and did 1 rep max testing in December and early March. I failed out at 395, and on Monday it was just supposed to be a regular deadlift day, and I said let's see what we can do, and we hit 405 for our top set and had a bunch left in the tank, so I felt really good about that. Sounds like you're visiting. You just keep us posted, man. The goal for the last couple years has been to get up to 500, but like I said, I've kind of stalled out. My 1 rep max last summer I hit was 415 and haven't gotten past that. And again, when I did 405 on Monday, I could have easily gotten 415, probably 425. So our goal for this cycle, I think we're going to bump it up from 425, which was supposed to be my goal in about 8 weeks. When we get to our next 1 net rep max test, we're going to bump it up and try for 450. We'll see how that goes. Playing around with the placement on this, I've seen a bunch of different people talk about this. Usually the belt goes kind of right over the belly button, especially for deadlifts to keep out of the way. With the squat, because my body's kind of compressing down on top of itself, I'm going to wear it a little bit higher just above the belly button line, so that way when I squat down, it doesn't get in the way, but it still gives me that support through the core. So we'll see how this goes. I feel like a real power lifter now with my belt on and my wrist wrap, not strap, for squats. I feel like I'm really becoming a powerlifting athlete. When really it's just I'm getting older and want to keep my spine and my wrist and my joints intact. Same thing, right? Yeah, that belt does wonders. Oh shit, yeah. Get rid of those channel points, burning holes. Gotta keep those pockets intact. I have not, I forgot about channel points. New project for this weekend is figure out what to do with channel points. Well, thank you. It's not unhelpful to me. It's also not helpful to me. We'll go with helpful. It is good. Listen, we're still learning all the ins and outs. We're building. This started out as just streaming from a phone on a tripod. Hey, homeowner wife. Yeah, I was getting there. Do you love me? Cool, thanks. Bye. I'm gonna go lighter then. Do 135. Okay. Okay. Do you need a spot? There's a spot. Yes, I will. Ugh. All right, we finished up our squats. And since that's all we talked about in the title of our stream, we're going to call it there. No, we got plenty of stuff to do. We're going to do some Romanian deadlifts. This is our deadlift variation we like to tie in with our squats on Wednesdays. Romanian deadlift, you know, our classic deadlift is all the way from the ground up and back down. This one we start at the top and we work our way down. We stop the descent about middle of our shin, so just above the ground. Take away the momentum, really keep the contraction through our glutes and our hamstrings. Shouldn't be anything in our lower back to really help develop the strength through that posterior chain. But yeah, that last set that I did with the belt, again, first time squatting with the belt, went very swimmingly. It felt like at least 50 pounds easier than the set without it. So I'm excited to see what we can do if we start incorporating it more often, like we plan to through the rest of this training program. This is only week 3 of our 12-week program. Again, the idea is our compound movement, Monday deadlift, Wednesday squat, Friday bench press. We build up each week. We did 70% 2 weeks ago, 73% last week, 75% this week. Continuing to build and build and build to a new 1 rep max in about, 12 minus 3, 9 weeks. 8.5 weeks. And based on how things are going, by incorporating that belt, we should be hitting some new PRs, which will be fun. It's always a good time to do that. It's always a good time to find out we're stronger than we thought. And real quick, I want to say thank you guys for being here today. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful middle of the week. Getting strong, staying healthy, working on your goals, whatever they look like, joining us and hanging out here while we work on ours, getting strong. and just having a good time. As always, I'm here to show you guys what I am doing. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, fitness, nutrition, wellness, is what we are here to debunk. There's so much noise out on the internet and across the information world that it can be hard sometimes to figure out what's the right thing to do or what's right for you. And if we can help debunk some of that stuff, that's what we love to do. Is that part of the plasma? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Who's that?
Hey, you're eligible to go to play. Let's do it.
See me crush these workouts has you itching. Had to take the last few days off. This is a back workout Monday. Super sore. Been a long while since deadlifts. We love it. You'll be back in. Movement is medicine. Even if you are sore doing something. What may I ask? What part of the back is sore? Is it the lower back? I'm going to assume. If it was deadlifts, I mean, it might be the upper back. It's just the lower back's the one that's more synonymous with deadlift soreness. Oh. Yeah, lower back. So one of the things that I've learned and I've started instituting, with my own training, especially if I do feel super sore in an area, whether it's my shoulders, my chest, my knees, my lower back, we often think that we need to take the rest day, rest, ice, compression, elevation. I've also often found that, especially if it's like a soreness, like maybe I overtaxed it, or it's just general aches and pains from lifting heavy or being active or whatever, I found that actually movement, doing some sort of resistance training exercise, is going to help more than just letting it be. I have a number of clients that I've worked with, especially that have had lower back issues, not necessarily from lifting, but from poor posture and sitting all the time and those types of just everyday aches and pains. As soon as we start strengthening those areas for lower back, things like, you can look these up or I can send them to you later, bird dogs, glute bridges, hyperextensions, like Superman hyperextensions, even throwing in like cable rows, lat pull downs, some sort of, I know they suck, but some sort of plank variation or like core variation can actually help speed up the recovery of a lower back soreness than just letting it rest, because you're actively, when you're moving those muscles and contracting them, it's loosening up that inflammation and it's funneling blood and oxygen and nutrients into that area to help with that repair. So when I pull my lower back, the big thing I usually do is I'll come in and I'll do bird dogs, some sort of plank variation, and a hyperextension. So some sort of overextension, but just nice and smooth. If it's anything weighted, I go super lightweight. Go for like 2 to 4 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions. That's just, again, just going to help loosen things up and funnel the nutrients and things that are into that area that need to help repair it. So something to keep in mind. Howdy, howdy. What's up, Walker Evans? Bought a house. We did. We our offer got accepted, so there are still a lot of steps we got to take before it is in our possession. But the first big step is currently out of the way, so we're excited. Yoga and stretching helped quite a bit. I'll send those over to you, Nippy, after our stream. Like I said, the big ones I would suggest some sort of hip thrust, single leg glute bridge, and bird dogs. You can Google those pretty quickly to find them. Nice and easy. Just really helps. We're gonna get into our next exercise here. Our first set, we're doing 5 sets of between 6 and 8, so kind of heavy on these. This is our Romanian deadlift. This is our exercise. It's our hinge motion, so it works our glutes, our hamstrings, a little bit through our lower back. Where we start at the top, lower it down just below the kneecaps, about halfway to the shin, and right back up. The idea here is that we eliminate the momentum at the bottom, but we are still holding the weight. We are not letting it go onto the ground. So it keeps that tension on those muscles to build up the strength in that area. Those are fun. They also really tax your grip because you're holding on to that weight. Thank you so much, Walker. You have yourself a wonderful day. Enjoy lunch. Have a good one, brother. We'll talk to you soon. See you soon. Man, that has me excited for lunch. Lunch time is over. Whew. Cheers, everybody. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Aiming for about 100 ounces of water per day. Between 80 and 120 ounces of water a day is usually a good wheelhouse to aim for. Is this last set, best set? Nice. I'm so sorry. No, I didn't disappoint. You knew I was gonna do it. It would have been disappointing if I didn't. These are reasons why you married me. Love it. Nicely done. Woo! You're so good. Take this one, I'll get the 45s. talking really briefly about that setup we had going with our squats. So we were both doing squats. As I'm streaming, I wanted to be able to face the camera. I want to be able to face the mirror. So I set up inside the rack. I usually, if you've been around for a while, you know we used to squat on the back side of it. For some reason, I just didn't like squatting in the rack. But for purposes of being able to stream and see, it was easier to switch to being inside. I have these safety bars set up about halfway up. You can kind of see on the other side there. If we get stuck at the bottom of the squat, this bar can just catch it and we're good to go. We'll safely exit out. Because we were both squatting at the same time, we set Jess up on the back side here so she was not in the rack. And we were getting, pretty heavy weights, so she wanted a spot just to be safe. So I was able to come in behind and provide that spot for her squats. Educational point there with that is how to set up for spotting somebody's squats. If you are at the gym and you are going for something that might be a little bit heavier than you're used to, or you see somebody else asks you for a spot with squats, it's very, very easy. Spotting for squats or bench press, you don't need to be stronger than the person lifting. You just need to be there to give them assistance. They should, in theory, be able to move that weight, but if they get stuck, need just a little bit of help getting through it, whether it's pushing through the bench press or standing up through the squat. So they're not relying on you. You're just kind of an added extra muscles to get it moving. With the squat specifically, when you are spotting someone, you're not right up against them. You give them a little bit of space, give them a couple feet. But what you do is you stand up and you go with a wide stance behind them. Let them do the lift. Don't interfere at all. As they descend, you go down with them. And you can have your hands kind of at the ready at the sides because they've got the bar on their back. You squat down with them, and as they come up, you come up with them. If they get stuck and say, please help, oh dear God, everything hurts and I'm dying, you come up underneath the armpits, not across the chest, don't grab them, come straight up underneath the armpit area and come up with them. They've got that weight there, so the less you can do to like grab or like pull, because that weight is under those armpits, that's where you're going to be able to stand up with them and give them that support. That way, they can lift safely, and you can help them, and everybody walks away happy. Well, the person lifting might be a little bit sad that they didn't get the lift, but they'll get over it and they'll get it next time. And they'll be happy they're not injured. And if you're ever not sure, especially as the one being the spotter, ask them how they want you to spot them. Especially on bench press, let them dictate how you spot them. So you're on the same page, always be on the same page with the person. Same way, if you're asking somebody else for a spot, even if they say, yeah, I've done this before, tell them like, hey, this is what I usually prefer, can you please do this? If you're the one lifting, you be in control of how they help you. Because you're the one that will be under the heavy weights, that will be in the compromised position, so to speak. And under no circumstances should you ever need a spotter for deadlift. That is something I have seen in which the person spotting stands in front of the person deadlifting and lifts their head up. So if I'm deadlifting and Jess were standing facing me and I were struggling, she would come up and lift my head to help me lift up. Don't ever do that. Don't ask anybody to do that. If they ever ask you to spot them on a deadlift, just say, just let go of the weight. If it's too heavy, just let it go. Try it again. You just can't lift it. Just point at the ground and go, there's your spot. When it's too heavy, just put it there. Put it on that spot. Same with overhead press. If you're doing a standing overhead press and you've got the bar, either set up safety bars in the squat rack, tell them to set up safety bars in the squat rack, or just come down and grab it and re-rack it. They should be in control of that weight. Should never have to ask for a spot on a deadlift or an overhead press. It's good you've never seen anybody ask for a spot on deadlifts. You should never see that, but I have seen videos of it happen on the Instagrams and Twitters, so people are clearly doing it. A bunch of silly gooses out there spotting deadlifts. Sorry, just looking to see what time it is. I saw Nicola in the hallway. Told her what time it is. Oh. Let's see. Hour and 10 minutes? Cool. Okay, we should probably keep rolling on. These lifts are not going to lift themselves. Although that'd be really cool if they did. I'm going to start working on that technology where the weight lifts itself, but I get the results. I'm only going to share it with a few people. And you guys will be some of the few people, don't worry. Just noticed the weight was sliding off the side there, so we just reset that. These first two still count, don't worry. Grip is tired today.
You know what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm exhausted. We're tired. What's that? Okay. We went for a run late yesterday. We had a very busy day, so we ran after work, so it was like 7:30. Came home, had dinner around 9, went to bed. Early morning. Awesome. Obviously the big news about the house. So lots of emotions up and down. The down really just being tired. The up being everything else. So we've been here, it's coming up on noon here in Ohio. Been here since about 7-ish. So we're rolling. Like Adele, we're rolling in the deep. Hands Man. Who's Hands Man? Terrible superhero name. One more set. Let's knock it out. Then we're gonna hit a superset after this. After we finish these RDLs, which hits the back side, after we hit our squats, which hits the front side, we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna do another squat variation. We're gonna do front squats. We introduced these, or I did them last week. It was not during the stream. So we'll introduce the front squat this week, and we're gonna superset that with a single leg exercise called our single leg hip thrust, single leg glute bridge. Very simple exercise. This is one nippy that you can do for your lower back. So you'll get a chance to see that here in just a couple minutes to wrap up our workout today. Leg day, we don't hit nearly as many exercises. My chest or my upper body days usually incorporate about 8 to 10 or 11 different exercises. My lower body days usually about 4 to 6. I go a little bit heavier so I don't need to hit it as long. And the upper body, we hit a lot of different stuff. Chest, back, shoulders, arms, all of it. With the legs, it's pretty much just legs. Whew. Thank God those are over with. There, that'll work. Come back into our rack for our front squats. Bear with us while we get this set up. We'll dive into our superset of our front squats and our single leg hip thrusts. Thank you again, guys, for being here, hanging out this wonderful, beautiful Wednesday. Hopefully it's beautiful where you are. We have had a string of a few sunny days here in Columbus, and it's been magical after how gray and dreary February and March were. Nice change of pace. Sorry for the noise and sound. It's gorgeous here. That's what we love to hear. We are going to keep this view here. So we're going to do our front squats in our rack. So we might have the top of the head right at the top of the screen, but we're going to do our glute bridges, single leg glute bridges kind of in this space over here. So trying to get them both in the picture frame. Get out of here, wait. We don't need you right now. Tiger mat gives us the power that we need. View there. So yeah, we'll do our front squats in our rack, and we've got our tiger power mat for our single leg hip thrust. You've probably seen us do our glute bridge hip thrust variation on our booty builder. This one, as it is single leg, it is more specific on working on imbalance and each leg individually. So we're just gonna do those on the ground. We don't need to add any extra additional weight for it. Really focus on moving through that hip, working, squeezing each side to get the right contraction, work on some imbalances. I'll be right back and we'll dive in. Quick swig of water and let's jump in. For our front squats, we're not going to do too much extra weight on the, not going too crazy on these. We got 135 on the bar. We're going to do at least 4 sets. We might do a fifth, between 5 and 7. Nice and smooth. The idea of a front squat is that because we are holding that weight on the front of our body across our shoulders rather than across our back, there's less compression on our spine. It loads it more in the front of our body. So this will engage our core a lot more as it forces us to keep our torso upright. If we squat down and we have that bar on our chest and we lean forward, that bar is going to fall off. So what's nice about this is it forces us to stay in a little bit more of an upright position. I'm going to take a little bit more of a narrower stance than I normally do for my regular squats. So you might see my toes kind of pointed out a lot more. That's going to allow me the range of motion to get down nice and deep while keeping that vertical torso into that squat. So it doesn't compress our spine as much. It works our quads a little bit more because that weight is loaded in the front. So a couple different reasons why. It's a nice variation to throw in if you're looking to build size and strength specifically in your squats and in your quads. The only downside is they're not super comfortable to get into. This is definitely a more intermediate to advanced exercise in my opinion. You can do the same thing loading up. If you saw last week, we did cable squats. So standing over the cable, holding the attachment with the cable right in front of us. That's a front loaded squat. You can do the same thing holding a dumbbell. Anything where you're holding a weight on the front part of your body is going to keep you in that more vertical position. focus on the quads, easier on the back, really helps you focus on that squat positioning. But this is a fun challenge, so we're going to do with the barbell. Big thing to keep in mind here is that this should be resting across your shoulder muscles, not across the collarbone. Got to keep those arms nice and high. Again, otherwise it's rolling down the arms. Nice and low. We're just gonna stick with sets of 5 on those. They're kind of heavy today. And then going into our single leg hip thrust. Again, pretty self-explanatory. With one leg, we are going to thrust at the hip. The cues to keep in mind on the single leg hip thrust really are to keep your feet up close to you, as close to your butt as you can. That's going to give you the most stable base of support with your foot. And as you thrust towards the ceiling, bringing that leg that's not planted up with you. Reason being is that keeps your hips square. If you keep your foot down, it's going to drop lopsided. So bringing that foot up with you, keeping it in line, just helps keep those hips square and hits the muscles in the right way. well, not that it makes a big difference on things, but I just saw that I had a my tweet saying it's a gorgeous day, let's squat, and I posted my Twitch link, got flagged for inappropriate, possibly inappropriate imaging or behaviors. So, thanks Elon. Thanks, thanks elongated muskrat. Thanks a lot Obama. Fucking dumb. Yes way. I flagged for inappropriate or sexual or nudity, and I was like, what? Oh well. No. You should take a step to your left and do them on camera. Jess is doing some curtsy lunges just off to the side here. It's a great variation on the lunge. Typically, our lunges are kind of like in a forward position, whether we're stepping forward or stepping backwards. We can also do kind of a lateral, so a lunging out to the side. This kind of hits at a diagonal. So with the curtsy lunge, which is what she's doing, is you start with your feet together. Come to the front of the squat rack here. Start with your feet together, and as you step back and across. So your foot comes behind, and you keep your hips square to the front. It's not a huge step to the side. It's almost like just behind and a little bit to the side of that front foot. And from there, we drop down. You find your balance. You try to keep that front knee in line over the toes, back up to the starting position. It's just that little bit of a curtsy. The idea there is with that kind of lateral movement, you're hitting the smaller muscles on either side of the hips a little bit more, making it a little bit more of a dynamic movement. Also throwing in a change on the balance because you are swinging back and forth behind rather than just a forward and backwards movement. 100% lucky the rack was there. I was going down like the Titanic. That happens. I had a new client start with me yesterday, and I was showing her seated cable rows, so sitting down and rowing, and I grabbed onto the handles as I want to do. So I grabbed the handles and I went to sit down with them and pull the weight, because usually I have it on a heavy weight and I kind of use my momentum to get it moving, and I didn't realize that I hadn't changed the weight from 10 pounds. So when I sat down, I went down hard. And I looked at her and I said, so don't do that. Always make sure you double check your weight before you pick up the cables. Occupational hazard. I've fallen down so much, especially recently, which is very silly. I don't understand. I think I just got too much going on that I'm not paying attention to where my footing is. Gotta dial back in. Having too much fun. All right. This is a tough workout, man. But that's what we're here to do. We do tough workouts because we're tougher. People always want to change until it's time to do the hard shit. It's the ones that show up and do the hard shit that see the change. As much as this sucks right now, as tired as I am, as much as I want to quit, we got 2 more sets to get through on this before we finish up. And by God, we're going to do them, because that's what we would do here. Don't get to the finish line if we keep hanging out. So we got 2 more sets of our squats and our hip thrusts to get through to finish off an awesome leg day. The squats felt great. Romanian deadlifts felt great. Our grip was starting to go, but it's still a little bit tired from Monday's deadlifts. That's okay. It'll be even stronger now because of today. Front squats are feeling good, better than they have in a long time because I don't do them very often. It's one of the reasons why I don't do them very often. But it's the exercises that seem to be the ones we hate the most are the ones we should do more often, because that's how you get better at them. And our hip thrusts are always good. They're tough, but they're fine. They're hip thrusts. We do a lot of them. We do them often. Hot dang. As always, guys, thank you for being here. You could be anywhere, doing anything, working on any channel, and I appreciate you hanging out with us, as always. As always, hungry. We like to have fun here. Lifting heavy weights, talking fitness, talking nutrition. Thank you for the subscription. Time flies when we're having fun. Thank you, Bartholomew. We're very excited about it.
Nice wind up.
Thank you. We will be excited. We are excited. You can be excited. We are excited. There's still a lot of steps before we have key in hand, but we're excited. Yeah. My darling. Ah, shooting pain. There was your impersonation. Ah, shooting pain. Oh. Moving will be a workout as well. It always is. But it'll be a lot more fun because we'll be moving into a house, which means we should be moving for the last time for a while. And should we decide to do it ourselves, I got a lot of IOUs to pull with some friends that I've helped move over the last few years that owe me a help with a move. Beck and Justin are available. I'll get Chris available. I'll get Ari. All these people that I've helped move before, calling them in. Yep, we've got time. We're in a... We are in a lucky position that our lease on our current apartment is not technically up until September. So ideal world, we get all this stuff figured out within the next, we'll call it 30 days. We've got plenty of time to make that transition, make that move. You probably didn't hear since she was far away, but call in IOUs and kind of piecemeal it as we, bits and pieces, and then have a couple days where we do, or one day where we do all the big stuff. So we'll make it happen. Moving's never fun, but we can make it fun. Just like with lifting. Right now, how big you are. That's what I want to look like in the future. Well, thank you. I am 6'2", and as of this morning, I weighed in at 212 pounds. I usually kind of fluctuate between 212 in 216 right now, so thank you. If you, what's that? Thank you. I run a lot and I eat healthy and I lift weights a lot. If you need any help trying to figure out how to look like your version of me, I know a guy. Spoiler, it's me. In all fairness, it is my career to stay healthy and strong. I lift weights 3 days a week. I run 3 days a week. I play hockey twice a week. I live a very active lifestyle. I keep my nutrition in check. I'd say about 70 to 90% of the time, depending on the week. And it's what we do, man. I got some plans that can help you get your version of this as well. But that is a topic we would discuss off of stream. What's the reason for holding the bar like that? So those are front squats, front load squats. I prefer the cross method. You will typically see front squat lifters they kind of hold with their fingertips and then the elbows straight out ahead of them. That's the classic hold. I do not have the mobility through my lats and my elbows to get into that position and have the weight down without my elbows pointing down. And as soon as your elbows point down, that bar is just going to go forward as well. So I do the kind of the cross. The hands are really just keeping the bar in place. It's really about the position of the arm. You want that upper arm at least 90 degrees through that whole squat, because that's what's going to help keep that bar level. As soon as your elbows drop, that bar starts going forward. So there's a few different ways you can hold it. Like I said, the typical way is kind of like fingertips and then kind of elbows forward. The way I do is a cross. I'm not actually holding the bar. My fingers are kind of wrapped over the bar and tucked into the little corners by my collarbone. There's another way where you can kind of do that without crossing, where you still do the same method with elbows straight out. This one is a little bit less stable because it is easier to kind of dip down. But that's just what works for me. Again, this front squats with the barbell, I would say, are a little bit more of an intermediate to advanced exercise. You can do the same movement just by holding dumbbells in a goblet style position. You can even hold them on your shoulders. It's just a front part of our body loaded squat. Doesn't compress the spine as much as a barbell squat does. Keeps our torso in a more vertical position, hits the quads a little bit more. So that's kind of why I do that. It's the 457, isn't it? That is funny. I thought that sounded familiar. And Bartholomew, I also don't do front squats very often. This is the second week that I've included them. I'll probably do them every 2 to 4 weeks. I'm not doing them for a strength-based focus, so I kind of use a weight that I know I can control. If I was going to be like really focusing on increasing my strength on front squats, I would probably focus on how to hold it a little bit more stable. But again, it's what works for me. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. So a goblet prisoner squat is where you hold the weight but your hands are cuffed together. No. Goblet and the prisoner. So a prisoner squat, you can see for the stream as well. Classic prisoner squat is you stand on the plate. This brings our feet really narrow, so toes are pointed really far out. And the idea with a prisoner squat is you kind of keep your hands behind your head as if you are being arrested. And so you squat down, it forces you into a different kind of position. You got to keep your torso up while squatting down, feet together. So the goblet style would just be that. It's just a closer feet closer together squat. don't understand the difference between only putting your toes on a plate versus placing the heels. So that's a good question. I don't know many people. The toes on the, what's up, Vitor? I don't know so much about the toes elevated. I think the idea there is because you are starting with so say this is our foot, this is our plate, our toes are elevated, it forces, it's a bad positioning, but it forces a more flexion at the ankle right away because your toes are pointed up, so your shins go more forward, so it works on your ankle mobility a little bit. Whereas if your heel is elevated, your toes are dipped down, your knees don't go as forward, so it doesn't need as much flexibility through the ankle and allows you to get into a deeper squat. That's the only thing I can think of, if that makes sense. Because if your toes are elevated, your ankle's already in a flexed position, even minorly, so your knee's not going to go as far forward, so you can work on improving that. Whereas again, if your heel is elevated, your ankle is extended, so you get a little bit more alleviation in that way. If that made sense. But that being said, I hate to say it, I appreciate you guys being here, but this is the ending of our stream. We just finished up our workout. We had a great time today on this lovely Wednesday. We got the sun shining here in Ohio, which is always a good thing. We hit some awesome heavy squats. We did 275 for our 5x5 today. Building and building and building, getting stronger. Hit our Romanian deadlifts, really working on our hamstrings and our glutes. Always love working on those. Strong butt, strong life. Hit some front squats and our single leg hip thrust to kind of finish everything out. You guys are amazing. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for hanging out. Hit those follows, hit those subscribes. Find me over on Instagram and Twitter at AlwaysHungryPT. Join the Discord. You know the drill. You guys have been here before. You guys have been on Twitch before. You know it. Look forward to seeing you soon. We'll be back on Friday for some bench press. So have a great day. Have a great Thursday. And hopefully we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Bye.